Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. America is under attack. That's the news that I'm leading with this morning, guys. There has been an incident at the White House. The US White House has taken incoming fire. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm also going to be talking about this link-up culture because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This is not just a UK thing. They're calling it teen link-ups or something in the United States. And I've got some videos to share with you guys as well. Now, some of these videos are a little bit edgy and they may get this video banned or restricted. So please show your support, guys. Become members, like, comment, subscribe, all those things that help this channel grow. I'm getting quite a lot of videos restricted now, which it is what it is, guys. I'm not going to stop talking about what I believe is true. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to try and minimize the language. You guys know the language you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. However, let me give you this as the upfront article. Suspect sent to the candy shop after opening fire at White House security checkpoint. Now, this is the gentleman. This is the gentleman. Remember, guys, what I want you to do, I want you to start doing pattern recognition. This is the gentleman. This is the suspect. This is the suspect, right? I'm struggling with my words because I don't want to say anything inflammatory to get the live stream banned, but I want to keep the tone the same. So this is a suspect, Nazir Best. That's the gentleman there. Now, I'll tell you guys what we know so far. I will then talk about something that is. I will then talk about something that is happening in the United States as well as the United Kingdom. In the United States, they're calling this teen takeovers. In the United Kingdom, they're calling this link-ups. And it is exactly the same thing. And I'm going to share with you guys videos. And honestly, you won't know which country you're looking at, whether this is the United States, whether this is the United Kingdom, because the same thing is happening in lockstep. I would speculate this is near-peer ideological subversion, state-sponsored, and it's state-sponsored. That's another video for another time. I'm going to give you guys the problem, right? So this is breaking from the United States. A gunman was sent to the candy shop by Secret Service officers last night after he opened fire at a security checkpoint right outside the White House. The incident happened on Saturday evening, so like hours ago, because obviously we're in a different time zone here in the United Kingdom. A 21-year-old man named Nazir Best, and I've just shared with you guys a picture, approached the checkpoint from 17th Street, pulled out a 9, I believe it was, and so a 9 would be a short barrel weapon or a pistol. And started opening fire at officers. Now, I'm told that he got 30 rounds off, so that means he must have changed magazines. Unless he had an extended mag, obviously. Secret Service returned fire immediately, neutralizing the threat. He was rushed to hospital, but later pronounced that he'd been sent to the candy shop. First of all, the stupidity of this, right? The absolute stupidity of this. Earlier on, I was talking about, if you watch my video earlier on, I talked about how the Nigerian police arrested a goat on suspicion of armed robbery. That's a real story, guys, okay? And I want to open that Overton window. And I think people really need to start looking at things and just accepting what is right there in front of your eyes. Like, I don't know what this guy's thinking. Like, I can't, like, in my brain, my logical mind, I can't think of anything more ridiculous that's going to definitely get you sent to the candy shop. Like, what was he hoping to do? What was going on in this guy's brain? First of all, that thought that was a good idea straight away. No, do you know what, guys? Let's rewind. First of all, what's going on in this guy's brain that makes him want to do that in the first place, right? So why would he want to do this? Good old Nazir, right? Why did Nazir want to do this? I'd love to understand that, right? I would love to understand what made him want to do this, because I genuinely don't know. Okay, so let's just say that that's your mindset, and I don't encourage that. I clearly there are problems here, right? And then the next thing, what made him think it was a good idea to go to the White House, probably the most secure building in the world, and think that that's going to be a good idea? I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. You know, I have no idea. I mean, I don't think he did strategic planning. He's probably not done the strategic planning course. Anyway, President Trump was inside at the time, but officials say he was never in any danger. Thankfully, no Secret Service officers were injured, although one bystander was hit and remains in a serious condition. So, you know, I'm assuming the bystander wasn't this guy's target, or maybe it was. I don't know. You know, and it does not make sense. Now, there is previous information about this guy. What we know so far is this wasn't a random attack. The suspect, Nazir Best from Maryland, was already known to the Secret Service. He had previous run-ins. He had previous run-ins with the White House and a documented history of serious mental health problems. This is yet another incident that raises questions about our society in general, right? This is our society in general, and the culture that we are cultivating. So I will be giving you guys more on that, and I've got some videos to share with you guys as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over to something that's hitting both America and, you know, guys, I'm going to share with you guys a video in a second. And remember, pattern recognition. That's all I want you to do. I don't even want you guys to pass judgment, right? I just want you guys to do two things, right? The first thing I want you guys to do is hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got loads of videos to do today. I've got so many videos to do. I know I said that yesterday, but literally as soon as I'd finished the live stream, and I've just got a message now, as soon as I finished the live stream, I got a phone call, and I had to do work. I had to do documents. I had to put together PowerPoint presentations, and then I had to present them, and I didn't have long to do it. So I was literally 4 sheets to the wind yesterday. So make sure you hit that like button, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Now, I want to talk about this. Now, this is, I've got like lots of videos to share with you guys. While we here in the United Kingdom are dealing with our own link-up culture that's causing carnage and chaos all over the United Kingdom, link-up culture, remember that, okay? The exact same thing is happening across the pond in America. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is getting worse. It's expanding, it's exploding, an order of magnitude. We got there in the end, an order of magnitude worse. In Florida, they are calling these teen takeovers. So now teen takeovers, link ups, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, guys, okay? It's just different branding. In Florida, like if you guys go to Europe, right? If you guys go to Europe, the Lay's, so Lay's crisps are what Europe, which Walker's crisps basically. Lay's are Walker's, and there's a flavor called French cheese, right? And they come, and French cheese comes in a orange pack, and French cheese is exactly the same as cheese and onion, right? So Lay's French cheese is Walker's cheese and onion in the blue pack, right? Branding, it's just different branding, guys, okay? Because they knew that in the United Kingdom, nobody's going to buy French cheese. I'm not having that. Cheese and onion, yeah, I've got to have them. Yeah, bring them in. So in Florida, they're calling this teen takeovers. I think this is a live stream on its own, guys. They're calling this teen takeovers. Hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 teenagers, and I'm going to share with you guys a video in a second, and I want you, I'm going to have to clip this video at various points because I'm getting quite a lot of my videos banned at the moment, guys. So I am going to try and clip this at various points, so the keywords are missed out, but you guys are going to know what they are anyway. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of teenagers organized in minutes on tickety-tockety and snappity-chatty. They swarm parks, beaches, malls, tourist spots, fights break out, weapons, people get stabbity-stabbity, shootity-shootity, police officers are attacked, and the entire areas are just trashed in minutes. Hang on, give me a second, this light's gone off. Right, I'm having trouble with the lighting in here. Police officers get attacked. Entire areas are trashed. Just in the last few weeks, we've seen major incidents in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Pensacola. Police are making dozens of arrests, but the gatherings keep coming. Now, listen, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is identical to what's happening here in the United Kingdom. The same social media platforms coordinating carnage and chaos, the same age group. And I want you guys to use your eyes to do pattern recognition in a second. The same age group, mainly teenagers, same thing during school holidays, half term, summer breaks, same behavior, large groups taking over public spaces, having the old fisticuffs, clashes with police, leaving communities destroyed. The culture is rising and growing fast on both sides of the Atlantic. It looks like this is no longer just a British problem or an American problem. This is a shared crisis now between the United Kingdom and America. The pattern recognition is phenomenal, guys. Okay, we are watching this in real time. This is like it's like flash locust mobs. Parents have clearly lost control of their children. Social media gives kids instant power to organize carnage, chaos, and mayhem, and the consequences feel too weak to even deter them. This is not going away on its own, guys. This is going to escalate. This is going to grow bigger, badder, and stronger. I know what the solution is. I obviously can't say it here because I will get the video banned. People need to wake up and identify the root cause of the problem. Now, why do I say we need to organize the root cause of the problem? Because if we can't organize the root cause of the problem, how do we hope to address that problem, right? You can't. Any business meeting, right? Any business meeting, any business meeting, any business meeting, any negotiation, anything that like you need to work on. You need to identify the problem, right? You need to identify the problem. You need to identify the problem. You need to identify the product. If you can't do that, right? If you can't identify and I've been in business meetings, right, where you know, and I've just had to say, right, stop, guys. Can we identify the product? Because we're all flim-flammering, right? We're all flim-flammering. You guys want something. You guys can do something. And you guys can pay for something. Let's identify a product and let's reconvene, and then we'll talk about that product. Because unless you can identify the product, there's no chance. There's no chance of dealing with then getting that project off the ground. The same thing with criminal activity. So, is it this one? Right. So I've got two videos to share with you guys now. This one is from Florida in the United States, and I believe this was last night, right? So first video, and I am going to clip this. First video, Florida last night. So this, please do pattern recognition. I am going to cut this at a couple of points. I'm not going to share the whole video.
Across the country, spontaneous teen takeovers are popping up.
Try and identify the root cause, guys, if you can.
Teen takeover.
Teen takeovers.
Teen takeovers. Let me ask you a question. How do they know it's a teen takeover? Because they can use their eyes and recognize that the people who are there are teens? Well, if you use those same eyes, what else can you discern about 99% of the teens in these takeover videos? That's right. They're all...
Right. I need to cut this here, guys, because I'm getting quite a lot of my videos restricted. So let me just cut that word there. So he's saying that what is 99% of those what is if people, the media, the press, the government are looking at these things and saying it's a teen problem. I'll let you guys into a little secret. Our girls wouldn't be there. They would not be there, right? I know that. I don't even need to worry, right? I know that, like, if the girls saw that, they would just walk the other way. They'd be like, "Daddy, come and get me."
But you're not allowed to make that observation. No. These are just teens. Don't notice anything else. So why does it matter what race?
Right, I need to jump there again.
A liberal shriek? Simple. How can you solve a problem if you're unwilling to admit what the problem is?
Look, you guys in America, we are having the exact same. We are having the, and I'll share with you. I'm going to share with you guys a video straight after this. We are having this exact same problem in the United Kingdom. And if you can't identify that problem and say, listen, this is the problem, you have got absolutely zero chance of dealing with it. Zero. What's the problem? I don't know. Some problem. Well, can you tell me what the problem is? It's like there's a scene in Police Academy, right? The first Police Academy when I think it's Commandant Lassard. He's in a lectern and Mahoney's hiding in the lectern and he's got a young lady with him. And there's an incident, right? And then Commandant Lassard walks out and he sees Mahoney poke his head out and like Commandant Lassard's furious. And then he goes up to the he goes back to the he thinks Mahoney. Yes, we need to get Mahoney out. And I think somebody says to him, why? What's he done? And he goes, a very bad thing. And he goes, to whom? And he goes, I don't know. That's kind of like where we are now. You know, we're trying to, nobody, look, guys, and I will, like, if I call out this problem, I will get the video banned. Like, I will get the video banned. I may even get this video banned.
After yet another teen takeover in Florida, this time a wild one in Tampa Bay, James Fishback, a candidate for governor of Florida, went off at this press conference.
It was not a teen takeover. What happened here on Friday night was a riot.
Okay, I'm going to leave that video there. He does go on and he talks about this in depth and he identifies the problem. What I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to share with you guys a video I shared with you yesterday. Now, this is from Clapham Common. Was it last night or the Friday night, basically? This was from So this video I'm going to share with you guys now is from Clapham Common on Friday night, and I want you guys to put just to look at the similarities, right?
Down at a wet place airport. I do not wear a cat, can't have a flat. I project make it, I give it up. I project give me all of your stuff. Give me whatever you got.
Again, there's a voice in the background. I don't know what they're saying.
No, they say not regular that. He talking in my time. I don't thought. Creep up, I really go to your spot. Nina, it's the beside of my cards. It's the beside of my penis. Penis up on my in it.
So there's a clear pattern here, guys. There's a clear pattern. I've got this video. Now, this was hang on. Yeah. Now, this was yesterday. This was a street party yesterday in London. Let me share this. Again, I don't know how this thing ended. And look, you know, this looks fine. People are having a good time. And I'm all for people having a good time. I'm not into having a good time, but I'm into working and producing and providing and exploring. You know, but I am going to try and find out how this street party ended, because I can't imagine like living there and like, oh God, I'd be like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I want to go to bed at like 9:30 or something. Yeah, I'm going to try and find out how this ended. So there's the two things I want to talk about today, guys. We've got this this attack in America. That's moving forwards, I guess. There'll be more information out now. And the teen takeover thing that is happening. Can you guys spot the what's bringing these two together? Right, let me jump onto the chat, ladies and gentlemen. What does this button do? Says even the previous streetwise working class baldrick in Blackadder was given a lobotomy by the BBC after Thatcher was voted in. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to jump up, guys. I'm going to get quite a few of these chats now. Hang on, let me get them. I'm going to start from... Phil is saying, I have a 17-year-old son. He came home. Hang on. Okay. Right. I'm jumping in on people's conversations here. Sharon is saying, you lot blaming parents in the chat. I bet half of the parents are doing 3 jobs just to pay the bills from income. Yeah. So it is really difficult. And, you know, I've taken a massive backseat with work to look after the kids. It's difficult, guys. It really is. You know, you're in, like, parents are in this, responsible parents, right, are in this position where, you know, they need to work to pay their taxes to provide things for their kids, right? And they're the responsible parents. So responsible parents are like, oh my God, I'm really sure I can't have any more kids. I can't have any more kids because, like, I wouldn't be able to, you know, I wouldn't be able to provide for my children because I'm not earning enough money, because I'm getting taxed into oblivion, right? Because I'm working, you know, as Sharon's saying, I'm working every hour God sends. And then you just have to think, right, okay, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to go in your bedroom because, you know, I need to work and I've got stuff to do. You've then got a different part of society who just think, I have more kids, government pay me, oh, for sure, or something like that. And, you know, and it's the hardworking people who are paying the taxes so people who are not working can have more children. The whole system's cooked, guys. It really is. I totally agree with what Sharon's saying. You know, it's really difficult to provide for your kids, especially when they're wanting, like, you know, they're wanting those like I don't know, Nike leggings or something, and they're like 60 quid I think they're like 40, 50, maybe even 60 quid a pair. And you're like, why don't you just get these? Daddy, I want those. And it's ridiculous. John Platt is saying, so we have teenage law-breaking tards causing too much trouble, who have no respect for the law and order and are either... Yes, that is pretty much it. James is saying, Sean, off topic, but were 2 Oreshnik missiles fired? I've not heard that. I don't know. Let me find it. Let me have a quick Google. Wow, that's what I'm hearing. Let me try and get an update for this. Hang on, let me text my friend. Oh, he phoned me last night. Oh, weird. Yeah. So slightly off topic, guys. Russia fired Orishnik missile at Ukraine as part of a barrage. I'm just reading this verbatim. This was released not long ago. Kiev came under a massive Russian drone and missile barrage early Sunday morning that included an Oreshnik ballistic missile. President Volodymyr Zelensky said hours after he and the US Embassy warned of an imminent strike. Kiev came under a massive... Yeah, we've done that. Russia's defense ministry said... Russia's defense ministry confirmed the use of the medium-range hypersonic missile. I'm trying to find out where it hit. Kremlin forces say they fired... Listen to this, guys. Listen to these numbers, right? I need to do this. I will do this on a standalone live stream straight after. But just listen to these numbers, right? The Kremlin forces fired 600 drones at Kiev and 90 missiles. 600 drones. When I tell you guys that we are heading to we're going to be in like a global conflict on an industrial scale, people, and it really frustrates me, right? I'm telling people what's happening, what's coming, and giving the solutions, right? I'm telling you what's coming and the solutions. Yep, that's coming. Do that now, or it's going to be too late. And nobody does it. Literally, it's so frustrating. And you guys have no idea how many letters I write to the MOD, to the government, telling them exactly what's coming and how to mitigate it. And I've probably had 2 responses. And I've sent maybe like 30 since 2022. I've probably sent 30 letters outlining and detailing what's coming, how they are vastly underprepared. So I will do that on a separate live stream, James. Oh! Right. Okay, so Billet Servia. So Billet Servia is a it has a huge runway. Guys, I've got stuff in Billet Servia. Oh God. Hang on. Sorry, guys. So that location where that... Okay, so this location, Billet Server, I've actually got stuff there. And I'm just going to text now and see if it's like... I've got a lot of money down there, right, in assets. So I've just texted another guy to make sure my shit's okay. So Donna is saying officially Oreshnik struck in Billet Server area of Kiev. Yeah, so that's like southwest Kiev. It's about an hour and a half drive. Yeah, that's just been a kick in the balls, guys. That's a kick in the ball. The fear in his face was ridiculous. I cut the cables on his PlayStation. Right, are we all talking about punishment we've done to our kids? Yeah, James is saying there's no stopping this Oreshnik missile. It's too fast and it's too powerful. I don't think these things are going to hit the United Kingdom, but I you know, they're clearly having a big impact in the UK. There's video. Right, is the air right? Okay, right, Donna. Right, I'm getting bad news in real time here. Donna, is the airfield, is there pictures of the hangar on the airfield? And is that hangar on the airfield on fire? That's all I want to know. Hang on, let me just have a quick... Guys, let me have a quick search on here. Right, I'm going to share this video with you guys. We're a little bit all over the place this morning, guys. But let me share this because there is no stopping this.
Блять, на нас!
Не кричи.
Да тихо.
Це пулі або...
There's no stopping that, guys. I promise you, there is nothing that can stop that. Nothing. If that wants to hit you, it's hitting you and it's destroying whatever it hits. And this is non-nuclear.
Воно де теж, де.
Ёб твою мать!
Збили, диви, як падав.
Блять, на нас!
Okay, they are swearing quite a lot in the... they're swearing quite a lot, but it's in a different language, so the algorithm probably won't pick it up.
Не кричи.
Да тихо.
Kotoy.
Це пулі або хто. Воно де теж, де.
Ёб твою мать!
So, right. Let's just put this into context, okay? This was a strike by the Russians, and we're told there were 60 missiles, 60, and 30 missiles and 600 drones. Look how the world were losing their mind. The world was losing their mind when one drone hit Dubai. You had all these people running. Oh God, Dubai! Oh God, we're under attack. Like, guys, like, seriously, sort yourselves out. You've had like maybe 1, 2 drones. It's you know. Probably asleep. Probably the internet's gone off. God, that's going to be a kick in the balls, guys. That is going to be a kick in the balls if my stuff's been blown up. No, this wasn't. No, this Oreshnik is not a hypersonic missile. It's a mid-range ballistic missile. So what it does, it goes up into space and then it comes down really fast. There's no way to stop it. There is absolutely no way to stop it. Rod Panhard is saying, you get the likes of Germany who are stupid enough to believe the Russians will fight them the same way they are fighting the Ukrainians. Look, oh, hang on a minute. Donna's saying, Sean, please see above. Hang on. Oh God, I think I've lost. Right. Right. There's nothing I can do now, right? There's nothing I can do but laugh. Literally nothing I can do but laugh. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me jump back on track because we've been talking today. And look, guys, I am going to do another live stream about this. There you go, Kinder. Showing your name. Showing your name. I am going to come back on and do another live stream about this. About what's just happened in Ukraine, guys. I'm going to do. Donna is saying, yeah, there's nothing you can do now. Right, where was we going? I'm absolutely gutted now because I've got like. You see, nobody will insure you. Any insurance you have in Ukraine has been absolutely void, right? So, like, if you have, like, for example, if somebody had armored vehicles, right, in Ukraine right now, there's no insurance. There's no insurance on these vehicles, and they're like over 100 grand a pop. And there's only certain places you can keep them because of the laws and the legislations. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump back because we have some big problems in the United Kingdom and in the West in general. So the first thing that's been happening is there's been an attack on the White House. Hang on. So there was an attack last night on literally, that's weird. Yeah. So there was an attack last night on the White House. It's just the world is escalating quite, into spiraling, I should say. The world is spiraling. So there was an incident last night at the White House, Saturday evening. A 21-year-old man named Nazir Best approached the White House checkpoint on 17th Street, pulled out a pistol, and opened fire at officers. The Secret Service immediately returned fire and neutralized the threat. He was rushed to hospital, and he'd gone to the candy shop. President Trump was inside, but officials say he was never in any danger. Thankfully, no Secret Service officers were hit, although one bystander was hit and remains in a serious condition. So what we know about this is the incident wasn't a random attack. The gentleman in question, Nazir, he was known to the authorities. He was where is he? There he is. He was known to the authorities. Nazir Best from Maryland was already known to the Secret Service. He had previous run-ins near the White House and a documented history of serious mental health problems. Now, this is a direction of travel that we are seeing more and more now. How many? Like, I don't know if you can. I don't think this qualifies as an assassination attempt on Trump, not even remotely. My main question is, what would make you think that that's a good idea in the first place, right? What would make you think that's a good idea in the first place? And what would make you think that that's not that's not going to get you instantly a one-way ticket to the candy shop? You're going to be spending all you got. The White House is one of the most, protected and defended buildings in the world, if not the most protected, secure building in the world. I don't know what he was thinking. But what rage and anger must have drove him? Let's go both ways, right? Let's go both ways on this. Let's just say that he, let's just say that he thought, right, you know what? I know the risks. I know the risks. I know the likelihood. And, this is what I'm going to do. It's, it just makes no sense, right? It just makes absolutely no sense. So if you know that something's going to get you, deleted, why are you doing that? And then you've got to wonder, like, okay, or maybe he thought, maybe he thought he was gonna, he was gonna go full John Wick. Maybe he's watched too much John Wick. Is this the start of a larger offensive by Putin? Listen, guys, I've been saying for a long time that that Keir Starmer's job. I've been saying for a long time that Keir Starmer's job is to get us into a war. That's what and people are, oh, Keir Starmer's going to go. He's definitely going now. Ho, ho, ho. They're all going to. I was like, nope, not a chance. Tell me, guys. I'm going to ask you guys a question, right? If you guys are on the chat right now, is Keir Starmer still the Prime Minister of Britain? I think he is, right? And I think Keir Starmer's job or in his role is to get this war started. And then they're going to get rid of Keir Starmer, blame everything on Keir Starmer, and then we're going to have a new guy at the helm who's saying, I didn't start this war. This was, I inherited this problem. And then, like, you can't really blame that guy. Mark is saying in North America, I'm North American Indian. I have every right to speak the truth about all races. I think everybody, has the right to talk about that, right? Rod Panhard is saying, feel for the innocent bystander. Oh, okay. So nobody's lost their life as far as I'm reporting, other than the person who, other than the assailant. Right, I'm gonna share the videos with you guys again and go, because I want to talk about this link-up culture. In fact, hang on, I've got a video I didn't share. I'm all over the place today, guys. I've just had some bad news come through, and I'm trying to wait to see if my shit's okay. I don't think it is. I think it's. I'm going to assume it's been blown up. So let me share this video with you guys now. So this is a report regarding the incident last night.
Tommy, this is what always happens when we have something like this. I always start to check in on the security situation at the White House, but this is what happened around 6 o'clock this evening. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States...
Okay, 3 times, not 30. Sorry, guys, 3 times. So he hasn't changed his magazine. That was wrong. It was 3 shots. Honestly, the mental... there's a word I want to use that starts with R that I don't think I'm allowed to use because I'll get the video banned. But you've got to be. He's clearly got mental health problems, right?
Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down. Now, sometime in this gunfire exchange, a civilian on the street was struck by this gunfire, and we do not know the condition of that person right now. But the important thing to know is that the gunman who came up with the pistol and was taken down by the Secret Service, and we don't know his condition right now, but he never got inside the perimeter of the White House. And this is according to a senior administration official with direct knowledge of what went down at the White House.
I'm just thinking, like, in this guy's head, is that how he imagined it going down? Like, yeah, I'm gonna take the White House. Yeah, I'm gonna go and take the White House. Me on my own. I mean, what did he do? Did he go and watch John Wick, the first one, because that's the best? Did he literally watch John Wick and think, I got this. I got this. Daddy got this. Nazir got this. You know, bang, bang, bang. It's ridiculous. At least identify a strike point, potentially when he's mobile.
This afternoon, this was right around 6 o'clock Eastern time.
So, Chad, so if I'm hearing what you said correctly, this was somebody who was just firing in the direction of the White House?
It was something that the Secret Service obviously perceived as a threat. Obviously, we're told that gunfire apparently was directed toward the White House. If you get toward the west side of the White House, and we're trying to figure out precisely where this was, you have the old executive office building, now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, which is kind of a big complex if you're working from west to east toward the White House. So we know that he was firing in the direction of the White House, and this is the preliminary report from someone who's very senior and would have direct knowledge of this information. Again, a lot of people in town, there was one source that had, questioned me earlier, even before we had this information. There's a lot of motorcyclists in town for the Memorial Day events. They always come for this time, and people thought it might have been, motorcycles backfiring or something.
Okay, just quickly, because I've done a lot of this. When you're on that roof I mean, they're probably, I don't know if they're all badged snipers, but they'll certainly be, I don't know what the distances are. Like a sniper, you're looking at like maybe 2 kilometers. Sniper range. So I'm assuming this is a lot less. So you probably wouldn't have to have badge snipers, just people who have got, sharpshooters, right? Or on the roof of the White House. Now, it will be their job to be up there on the White House, ready to go, safety catch applied, finger on the trigger, safety catch, finger discipline, right? Looking for threats, and they will put their scope on, and they will be constantly putting their scope on people. This will be recorded. It will be live recorded. It will have the most sophisticated technology that money can buy. There will not be any. You know what I will say? This will be the most sophisticatedly guarded building in the entire world. I can say that with 100% certainty. When these guys go up there on the roof, I'm talking about the Secret Service sharpshooters now. These are not like wild cannons who are just going to open up on anything. They are going to be operating under a strict rules of engagement, right? Is this guy a threat? Is he a threat to life? Is he still a threat to life? Could he continue? And it's if you have to pull that trigger, it's terrifying, guys. It really is terrifying. Sometimes it's terrifying. Sometimes there's no question, right? And you're going through your rules of engagement. And when you look back, if it's your first time, when these guys will look back on this, they will replay everything, and it will all be in black and white. It's the same for everyone. They will replay this moment over and over and over and over their heads again in black and white. And this is why I get really angry when I see British firearms police dragged through the courts in the UK. It's disgusting.
Something like that. There's quite a cacophony of that. But this is clearly someone who came up and was firing at the direction of the White House. And the president, of course, is at the White House today.
So that's what we know more. We've got more information from that now. So we understand what's happened. Now, what I'm going to talk about now is I want to jump back and talk about this team takeovers and link-ups, because these things are tearing apart America, and they're also tearing apart the United Kingdom. So here in the UK, guys, we have link-ups, right? Link-up culture, causing fish and chips, right? Fighting in someone's house, causing havoc in people's streets. Now, there is a direct theme here there's a direct theme, but nobody dares say that. Everybody's too scared to say the problem. And I can't say, because I'm getting quite a lot of my videos restricted now. So on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not done so already, please make sure you hit that like button, like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. It's not got back to me yet. God, honestly, my little heart is bumping out of my chest here. I'm going to be absolutely gutted. So here in the UK, we are dealing with this link-up culture. Over in the United States, they are dealing with something that they are calling teen takeovers. Now, the similarities in this are unbelievable. So before I get onto that, ladies and gentlemen, can you Before I get onto that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down on X. Hang on, Right, listen, if you're watching on X, I'm going to close you guys down and I will just be continuing this live stream over on YouTube. I've got a couple of videos to share with you guys. Maybe you didn't get them at the beginning. I'm just going to share one of them, actually, as I'm looking at the time. Maybe you didn't get the videos earlier. I don't know, but I'm just going to share this. It's only a minute, but what I want you to do is I want you to make the... look at the pattern recognition. Now, that's all I'm asking you to do. Pattern recognition between what's happening in America and what's happening here in the United Kingdom. Right. I've removed the guy. I've removed them from X. Right. Let me share this. So this is a video of something that's happening in the United States, and they're calling this teen takeovers, right? But I'm going to stop this. I'm going to cut a couple of words out.
Across the country, spontaneous teen takeovers are popping up.
Teen takeover. Teen takeovers.
Teen takeovers. Let me ask you a question. How do they know it's a teen takeover? Because they can use their eyes and recognize that the people who are there are teens? Well, if you use those same eyes, what else can you discern about 99% of the teens in these takeover videos? That's right. They're all...
Across the country, spontaneous teen takeovers are popping up.
Teen takeover. Teen takeovers.
Teen takeovers. Let me ask you a question. How do they know it's a teen takeover? Because they can use their eyes and recognize that the people who are there are teens? Well, if you use those same eyes, what else can you discern about 99% of the teens in these takeover videos? That's right. They're all...
Right. I need to cut that little bit.
You're not allowed to make that observation. No. These are just teens. Don't notice anything else. So why does it matter what race they are? I can hear a liberal shriek. Simple. How can you solve a problem if you're unwilling to admit what the problem is? After yet another teen takeover in Florida, this time a wild one in Tampa Bay, James Fishback, a candidate for governor of Florida, went off at this press conference.
It was not a teen takeover. What happened here on Friday night was a riot.
Now, I'm going to leave that video there because he does get quite brutal in identifying the problem. Now, we have the same thing happening in the UK, and I'm going to check on social media later, and I'm going to assume that we had similar problems in the UK last night. That's what my assumption is right now. How do you stop this? The numbers are too phenomenal now. The numbers are too phenomenal. And I think this is a takeover. We all expected the Russians, well, I didn't expect it, but some people thought the Russians were going to come with their tanks and, roll through. No, it turns out this problem, what we have right now in the United Kingdom and America does look like a full-scale takeover. Oh, hang on a minute. Donna has resubscribed. Thank you, Donna, resubscribing 7 months. That's powerful, Donna. Thank you so much, Donna. Donna, thank you so much. Donna's saying, tagged you in videos from X about the strikes. Right. I don't even want to look at this. I will look at those. Thank you for that, Donna. I will look at those shortly once I finish this live stream. Hang on. He's still not got back to me. But yeah, I will look at those, and I will be straight back on. I'm going to give you guys an update on what's happening in Ukraine. I do know that area, guys. So the area in Ukraine where, I'll get it on the map. So this is the area where the airstrikes have hit. So this area here. That's the area that's hit. That it has a huge. There's a huge old. There's a huge old Soviet. There's a lot of infrastructure there actually. The biggest asset down there. There's a huge Soviet runway. The strategic Russia's strategic bombers, obviously in the times of the Soviet Union, the strategic bombers were going to fly from there. So let's, and yeah, so this is the location where the Oreshniks hit. I'm not going to point them out, but there are other facilities outside there that I'm going to assume the Oreshnik missile didn't hit here. I'm going to assume it hit somewhere else around there, where those locations are. Rod Panhard is saying TikTok culture has just led to I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can blame that. Surely it's the people who are putting those content on, right? Surely it's the people who are putting those content on. Silly Gallardi is saying, I prefer the teenagers' trends of hunting Pokemons. Right. I knew there was something wrong with Pokemon. Right. Do you know what guys? Do you know what Pokemon did? You know the Pokemon what was it? The augmented reality, catching the Pokemon. Yeah. Do you know what that did? That gave people, whoever was running that, but I think it was the Chinese, right? What that did is that got kids all over the world to become reconnaissance agents for the Chinese government. Think about it, right? This Pokemon Go, right? You have to use your camera, right? And you have to take pictures of areas, right? You have to, I've got that. I've took a picture. What they're doing is they are building up a picture. They're building up intelligence networks for, I think it was the Chinese government. Yeah. Pokemon scanned the world. It absolutely did. Yeah. Location scanner. Absolutely. Absolutely. And these things are, these things are like, what's the word I'm looking for? Encased as kids' apps. So people are saying it's just the kids' app. Let the kids have fun. And you're like, yeah, that's going to the chat. How can it go to the chat? Can you imagine, right? Can you imagine if the Chinese military, right, released an app and it was called, I don't know, Chinese Military Intelligence Network app, and everybody was walking around taking pictures. They would get arrested, right? They would get arrested, but no, it's only kids. It's only kids playing. It's like Google Maps. The thing with the Pokemon though, the kids were going places that you couldn't get with the Google van. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this live stream down. The crux has been America is under attack. The White House has taken fire. One assailant has been sent to the candy shop, and the takeover is happening. Now, in the United States, they're calling this teen takeovers. In the United Kingdom, they are calling this link-up culture, link-ups. It's the exact same thing. Anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to be back on in like 15 minutes. I'm going to give you guys an update on what's just happened in Ukraine. Yeah, I'm going to make a phone call now. If I can get my guy in Kiev, hopefully I'll be able to give you guys an update on what's actually happened. But it's clearly not going anywhere, right? 600 drones. That is a strike on an industrial scale. I would say Britain doesn't have the ability to fire one salvo of 600 drones. It's impossible. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close. Hang on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back on within 15 minutes, and I'm going to give you guys an update on Ukraine, and I will see you guys later.